Hey, Shad here with Speed Addicts, the fast growing gear site on the web. Today we're going to uncrate Progressive Suspension's 465 monoshock. What's up, Speed Addicts fan? Before we jump in and tell you all about the go-to Harley Softail shock for those M8 Softails, before we do that and educate you here, do us a favor, subscribe to the Speed Addicts channel. It only takes a click, and then you'll be up to date on all the latest parts and gear coming into the power sports industry. Working hard here to help you make educated buying decisions, and if you're subscribed, then you don't have to worry about missing out. Speaking of buying, if you would like to support us, you could do so by simply shopping with us here at speedaddicts.com. There will be a link in the description down there below that'll take you to the complete selection of Progressive suspension products over at speedaddicts.com. We've been an authorized Progressive dealer for about 2 decades now, and we think it's some of the best stuff you can put on your Harley Davidson. Okay, Progressive is U.S. owned. These are made in California, okay? We like to support American companies here at SpeedX when we can do so, and these guys are actually not far from us. Again, quality products. The 465 in particular has a lifetime warranty, so this is a solid investment that is going to stick with you for a while. Now, when it comes to Softail suspension, there are essentially 2 different versions of Harley Softail suspension. There is the OG double shock setup that runs parallel to the ground at the bottom of the machine, and those are Softails made in 2017 or before, the older stuff. This shock is made for the newer gen, the M8 Softail, where the shock is a single shock located under the seat. Those bikes are coming up on, that's 2018, and after those some of those shocks are coming up on their 6th birthday or so. So maybe yours is tired, maybe you're just looking for a little bit more performance than what that OEM shock is providing you, and this would be a good place to start, the 465 from Progressive. So there are 2 different versions of this shock. There is the standard version. They're both coilovers, nitrogen charge with rebound dampening and rechargeable nitrogen valve up at the top. But the main difference here, as you'll notice, is that this shock over here is has the remote adjustment. That is the only difference. The standard shock is going to run you between $600 and $800, depending, or $600 and $750. If you want to add on this remote adjuster, it's going to cost at least an extra $200, maybe $300. The pricing is driven by the particular application, so there's some variance here. But this is a fair upcharge, a fair amount of money for that remote adjustment. And what that allows you to do is adjust the preload remotely, because these shocks are hard to get your hands to if you're the type that is often riding with and without a passenger, going between different loads, and you don't want to get out a spanner and pull the seat off and adjust the preload with the collars manually. Then you're going to want to spend the extra money and get this remote adjuster, so when the wife jumps on the back for the weekend, you can crank that preload, get the spring a little tighter, and have a better ride without having to use the wrench, okay? Hope that makes sense. Now, when it comes to the springs themselves, there is going to be 2 different spring rates. Typically, for most applications, there will be the standard spring rate and the heavy-duty spring rate. Heavy-duty spring rate is recommended for folks who are riding 2-up the majority of the time, or if you're well above 250 in a single rider. And that means you got to consider your luggage too. So if you're loading up the bike with a bunch of stuff and you're 220, 230, 240 and above plus luggage, then you might want to consider that heavy duty spring rate. But for most people, if you're not riding 2-up or you're not piling on the gear, you probably want to go with that standard spring rate. How do you know which is what? Well, you're going to have to look at the spring rates at Speed Addicts. We have them listed there in the description, and you'll get an idea that you'll have there's also different lengths available. So if you see 2 13-inch shocks for your bike, one of them has a higher spring rate than the other. The higher spring rate is, the spring rate is how many pounds it takes to compress the shock. So the higher the spring rate, the stiffer the spring. That means it's going to be that heavy-duty option. Now, if that all sounds too confusing to mess with, you should really just talk to our rider support team. We've got experts standing by to help you make the right choice. That way you don't have to mess with a return or exchange. Use them, live chat, phone, email, whatever you got to do will help you get into the right suspension for your bike. There are lengths from 12.5 up to 13.5 inches. So if you want to bring the bike down or bring the bike up in some cases, you will be able to do so with these 465. So this is an aluminum body. and it's going to offer you great heat dissipation here, and that's what a shock is doing after all. We have a gas and fluid filled shock that is going to turn that energy of your bike moving up and down into heat and dissipating that heat. Aluminum does a great job of doing that. And nitrogen, so you have a nitrogen port. That means the shock can be serviced. Whereas cheaper shocks are basically sealed from the factory with gas, and they can't be serviced, and you basically just gotta toss them after they go soft. These can be serviced. So this thing, again, lifetime warranty. You know, you're gonna invest somewhere between $700 to $1,000. This is gonna stick around. You're gonna be able to service it and fill it with nitrogen, which is nice to know. Down low, you have 5-setting rebound adjustment. So you can dial in your rebound, and that's not something that's available on a lot of the other shocks from Progressive. So it's nice that they included that. Now, Progressive's name comes from their springs, and this is proprietary Progressive technology in that they wind their springs progressively. You'll notice down here near the bottom, the coils are closer together, whereas up at the top, they are further apart. Coils that are closer together are easier to compress, so you get the best of both worlds. The coils that are closer together are going to eat up those smaller bumps in the road, and then the stiffer coils up at the top are going to provide that firmness, that performance as you push the bike into corners, and that's kind of the whole gimmick behind Progressive suspension, and that's where their name comes from. Inside of the shock, you have deflective disc dampening. That is their technology that allows that oil to flow through the passages, and really is where the engineering comes into play in the shock body itself. Again, 1-year warranty from Progressive is the 465, our go-to choice for the late model Softails 2018 and after, various lengths available, full lifetime warranty from Progressive. You still got questions, you're not sure exactly which part number to order for your machine, talk to our rider support team. We have techs on staff here who can help you with this stuff. The install is pretty straightforward. If you have the proper lift to support the machine, you should be able to swap out a shock like this relatively easily. Again, follow the instruction from Progressive and make sure that you do that safely with a stand that is up to the task. Okay, that's it for today. We'll see you next time to find out what's in the crate.